So hello guys, in this video we're going to take a look about how to integrate Django with Cassandra, and we're going to use Django extensions to integrate with Jupyter Notebook, and we're going to use Pypyr to write pipelines, and we're going to use AstraDB Cassandra service to integrate with our Django service. So let's get right into it. So first we have to start with the starter template, and now in the directory just clone it. So and now cd into and now hit ls, and now I'll bring it up in Visual Studio Code, and that will be my choice of editor. And we have a to do, and this is what we'll be following through. And now now we have cloned it, and now let's reset it to this commit hash so that everyone starts from the same page. And then you can even remove the origin. Why we need the GitHub origin. And now I'll start with the I'll create a virtual environment inside this project, and now I'll source bin/activated, and now I'll install the requirements.txt, which is present over here. So it contains everything. So these are the things we'll be using for our service. So everything is installed, and now let's start with the Django-admin start. I'll create a project named backend. I'll create a period so that it creates over here in the same directory as manage.py and backend. And I'll create an app, python manage.py start app. I'll create an app named posts. So now go to backend settings. I'll add those two over here, and now I'll hit Django _ Cassandra engine. That is what we'll be using, and we'll be using their posts. And now we created a project. Now we created an app, and now we install the packages, and now we should configure the database. So now just go to so once you sign in, you'll be directed to your dashboard page. So now let's create a database. I'll just call it Cassandra test. The key space will be example, and I'll just click Asia Pacific and Mumbai. Since I live in India, Mumbai should be nearest to me. And and now just copy these tokens, and now I'll create a .env file so that we can use it, paste it, and now I'll name it as AstraDB client ID. So this will be my client ID, and then AstraDB client SECRET client secret. So this will be my client secret. And now we actually don't need the token, but still we don't need the token. We just need these two. And so our database is now active, and you can go to the console. And now let's click the connect, and now we are going to use the Python driver. So we are going to follow these steps, and before that we'll install the secure bundle. Our region is Asia Pacific, so I'll just click the download. Asia Pacific and click download. We need this bundle, so as of now I'll just drag and drop and keep it over here. And now this is very important. And now go to, I'll create a backend and then new file d. I'll make a directory called db and inside that Cassandra underscore db dot py. I'll even create a init.py and then I'll paste this. And then it's not auto completing because I should select my interpreter. So and now enter path, find the path, and now go to bin and then and now select interpreter. Okay, so from Cassandra dot secure import connection dot, not columns, dot connection import. These two are very important. And now at the top I will import path loop, and then from decouple import config. Astra DB client ID, that's not ID, CLIENT, client ID is equal to this, and then I should cast it as a string, and now Astra DB client secret. Okay, and now import, I'll call it ignored dir is equal to path loop dot path of file dot parent. Dot parent means it will be this, then dot parent is over here, and then over here slash it with ignored, and then connection bundle, that is where the I'll just have it as, nope, I don't want all these things. I'll just rename it to connect dot zip. That's pretty correct. And then here you should replace it as that. Now define get cluster, and now this should return cluster. And now this should be define get session, and then cluster is equal to cluster session, and now it should be register connection. Instead of default you should pass in str of that session. And now set default. And now you return the session. You actually don't need all of these, and we'll just indent properly. And over here you need to pass in the credentials, so that will be client ID and client secret. So this is our connection.py file. So, and now we should go to wsj.py. Here's where things are going to happen. And now every time, so now let me go to the todo.md, configure Cassandra DB, and then we still need to make this change. I'll rename it to connect.zip, and then inside backend I'll create a new file, ignored. Ignored. Oh, oops, it should be a folder. New folder, ignored, ignored, and then I'll just put that connect.zip inside the ignored. And then this here is going to be a DB. And now let's create a simple model. So posts models.py class post, you don't need this, so from Django Cassandra engine, and then from Cassandra.SQL engine dot models, import model, import columns. So here it will be model as Python Cassandra model. So I'll pass in Django Cassandra model and Python Cassandra model. So this is how it's going to be, and instead of primary key I'll give it a default as UUID, and now I'll import the UUID. So this is how it will be. And now let's go to the admin, and then from dot models, then it's just going to be admin.site.register posts, and now create a simple, and now we should sync tables. So that is where the major problem will come. So every time our database or our models.py is going to change, you need to run this sync.tables command. So for better purpose, we'll run this inside over here, inside the wsj.py. So every time our app is going to run, this will sync the table. So from backend.db.cassandradb import get session. So our session is going to be get session, and then from cassandra.sql import sync tables, and then print. Okay, so and now I'll just hit print syncing tables. I'll just move it a bit up. Syncing tables, and now sync table, print, done. So every time we run, this is going to happen. So now let us clear, and now let me hit Python manage.py run server. Okay, error while importing. Okay, cannot import get session from backend. Okay, then that should be just db. I think it should be just db dot. Now let's try. Maybe I can do a dot. From db.cassandradb import Okay. Huh? Hey. Okay, so everything I've written in init.py. Okay. Okay, so I'll just copy paste and put it in Cassandra db.py. Okay. So now if I go to models, and now if I go to init.py, no, if I go to wsj.py, yeah, import, and now if I hit run, no module name db. Okay, so it should be backend backend dot. Now hit run server. Okay, let's see what error. Yeah, so we need to set our key space. I forgot about that. So now let's go to the models.py and underscore key space. I gave it as example, so whatever you gave it, you should keep it over here. And now let's run. Let's see what's happening. Syncing tables. It's syncing the tables, and now we are ready to go. So in our model, we are separating the databases. For example, you can have SQL database and use Cassandra side by side, so you can use multiple databases. So there is one problem over here, but every time you run the migration command, it will even migrate the post module. Yeah, so our post, yeah, it will by default take these and then it will create a migration. So to avoid that, you just delete the migrations folder and you are good to go. So now hit manage.py, make migrations. Yeah, I'll create that, no migrations, and now I'll hit migrate. Yeah, you need this to access the Django admin. So and now I'll create a python manage.py, I'll create a super user, I'll name it admin, and then I'll give it a whatever simple password and hit yes. Yeah, and now hit run server. Yeah, and now our Django project is actually working. And now let me go to the admin, and I created an admin and whatever password. You see posts. Yeah, you get this error. So this error will come. You need to set this as false by default in your backend settings.py. Yeah, go at the last. So it should not be a string, it should be a property. Equal to true. And now hit, yeah, so now hit add. Okay, so there is a body. I'll give it awesome body as nice, and then hit save. Ours is saved. How good is that? And now let us go to our Cassandra console, and then now let's go to the Cassandra test, and now let's refresh it to see whether are there any read writes. Okay, so there is some data transfer, there is some data consumed. Okay, so everything seems to be working perfect with this. Yeah. And now let's go to the VS Code. Now let's go to the todo.md. So sync tables is done. So and now we need to set up Django with Jupyter Notebook. So this is very important when you want to integrate multiple, when you want to test multiple databases, because using the every time going to the admin panel or hitting python manage.py shell is not that feasible. Yeah, sorry, oops, manage.py shell. Yeah, so this shell, every time you need to import everything, you need to run the same command styles. It's very tedious. So for that, it's better that we kind of use Django and Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, so now let's go to the terminal. Now pip install IPython and Django extensions. Yeah, you can use this. And then inside the installed apps, so now go to the settings, installed apps, and now below this you can give Django extensions. Yeah, and now python manage.py shell underscore plus hyphen. Yeah, okay, so it's saying no module name. So and now pip install notebook. So I didn't install the notebook, so yeah, let me install the Jupyter Notebook. So once it's installed, so it is going to run. Yeah, so it is running, and now I'll create a new folder and go back, and now hit rename. You can call it in notebooks. So go to that notebook and then hit, yeah, and now from backend dot db dot Cassandra underscore db import get, there is no errors, and then if I hit get, and now yeah, see, everything seems to be working perfectly. And now from, it's actually posts dot models import post. Yeah, and now post dot, I hit control tab, oh no, you don't need to do like that. You can just pass in a title equal to let's say Python, and then hit obj dot save. See, it created. And now list of post dot objects dot all. It is very similar to the Django ORM. You can perform various functions. So I'll just call this as list underscore, and then I'll save it. Yeah, and then for I in list underscore print I dot title title, and then I'll just give it some simple stuff like this, and then I dot id, and then if I hit enter, okay, so I didn't run it. See, getting Python, awesome. These are the two objects. And now let's go to the manage, and then let's see. Then let's check our console whether are there any read writes data stored. The same amount of data stored, so no big issues. But this is how you can like simple test with Cassandra. So these are the simple queries which you can run. Same way you can even create, you can even query, you can order by you. There are several functions you can use on this model, and so I just showed you the basic way so that you can do the other stuff. Yeah, and now let's go to the VS Code, and now yeah, and now let's talk about the encryption. So yeah, so let's just okay, so I'll just save it. Yeah, and now open backend, and then db, no, ignored. Yeah, and now I'll extract here. So we see all of these are all the various configurations which should not be exposed or should not be known to others. Yeah, it has a certificate, identity, and then it has a trust key. So there are various files, so these files should not be shown to everyone. So once if you are uploading these files to GitHub, everyone will have access to your database and database credentials. So to avoid that, we need to create a we need to like create a encrypt.py. So I'll create a encrypt.py file. Yeah, so in this we need to write all the encryptions and decryptions. So yeah, import pathlib, and now from decouple import config, and then from cryptography import fernet. Yeah, that is one. And now we should generate an encryption key in encryption key. Okay, so this is our encryption key, and then define generate key. No, I don't want this. So that will be return fernet dot generate key dot decode to UTF-8. Yeah, I'll give the UTF in capital, and then I don't even need these and all. Yeah, and then encrypt. So we are not going to encrypt a message, we are going to encrypt a dir. So input directory, output directory, you don't need a key, so key is equal to encryption key. If not key, then it'll raise an exception, no encryption key found. Yeah, and now fer is equal to fernet.key. It is already encoded, so no problem. Yeah, key. So input dir, yeah, input dir is equal to, yeah, this is correct, output dir, and then you have to make the dir, yeah, parents is, yeah, these are all correct, and then for path in input dir dot globe, it's just going to be a star. Yeah, I don't want all of these. So, and then underscore path bys, yeah, it's going to be path dot read bytes, and then data is equal to, yeah, and then real path, yeah, and then the relative path is equal to, okay, yeah, the relative path is the path relative to the input dir, and then the destination path, test path is going to be output dir, and then relative to the input dir, that is correct, and then it's going to be destination path dot is going to be write bytes of data. Yeah, that is the decrypt dir. It's not encrypt, it's going to be encrypt dir, and then the same thing is, and then we are going to write a decrypt dir, decrypt dir, and then, yeah, and then input dir is the same output dir, and then here it's going to be, instead of encrypt, decrypt path bits, and then everything else seem to be the same. Yeah, so this is our function, and now I'll just give it a test run. Encryptor, it is going to be ignored, and then ignored encrypted. Yeah, and now, yeah, and now I'll hit Python. It's going to be backend, and then encrypt.py. Okay, so there is encryption key not found. Okay, so I should generate one. So generate key, it should be print of generate key, so that I can see it in the console. Okay, I'll just comment all these because these are quite irritating. Yeah, so this is going to be the encryption key. So now go to .env, and then encrypt, oops, forgot, p encryption key is this. So, and then now if I go to encrypt.py, and now go to .env, yeah, so, and now my encryption key is set, and then now if I go to encrypt, and now I don't need this, and now I need this, and then right from here to here, yeah, and now it's gonna be encrypt. So let me see, ignored, okay, ignored encrypted, so there isn't anything over here, okay. So so I should pass in, should be backend slash ignored, and then it should be backend slash, yeah. So now okay, I made a mistake, yeah, so I should delete that, yeah. So and now if I hit that, and now I go to see, it's encrypted. That's wrong. Yeah, and now it's encrypted, yeah, and now I need to try even the decrypt. So and now the decrypted, this will be the encrypted, and then backend, not, I don't want, I'll give another, not ignored, I'll give something as decrypted, and now let me go to decrypted, and then it's still okay. So our function pretty well works well, and now we have created the encryption and decryption modules, and now we have to create pipelines. So for pipelines we are going to use, I don't need this directory, yeah, and so for pipelines we are going to use Pypyr. That is a very simple module used to write pipelines. So and now I'll create, I need to create a mode trash, and now I'll create a encrypt pipeline. So pipelines slash encrypt dot is going to be a YAML file, yeah, so it's going to be steps, and then I'll just give it a name. The name will be pyr dot ste steps dot py import. So this is the step name, and then I'll give it the in parameter, like it's like an input, and then it's going to be py import on what and all it should import. Like if you, now I'm going to give like pipe symbol, you give pipe symbol to like do it in a separate line. So from backend dot encrypt import encrypt dir, so I'm importing that, and now the next one is a name, and then it's going to be set, yeah, pypyr dot steps dot set, and now again it will take an input parameter, and then that will take in a set parameter, and then it will take to encrypt, CRYPT encrypt, that will be the parameter, and now that will be a input underscore there, so that is our parameter which we give, and then that will be backend slash ignored, yeah, and then output is going to be output there, and that is going to be backend slash encrypted, that is one. And then now go to name and name, name, that will be pypyr dot steps.py. So in this, that will again take an in parameter, no, we need a run parameter, sorry, and now colon py, it's going to be encrypted, and then it's going to be a I of input there, and then the same I of input there and output there, yeah, that is going to be a function. And then for each that will be a to encrypt, yeah, to see, yeah, so this is our pipelines, yeah. So okay, so let's now try this out. Go to our terminal, and now python -m pypyr -h. If I type this, I get to know that my Pypyr is installed, and these are the various commands I can use. So Pypyr, and then it will be pipeline slash, you don't need the YAML, just encrypt. Okay, PyImport does not exist. Okay, looks like I made some typo. Okay, so it should be PyImport, small typo. Name I is not defined. Okay, so why, yeah, looks like I gave space. So yeah, so this is the problem, yeah. And now yeah, so, and now okay, so I had a small typo, so that was actually fixed, and yeah, and now if I hit that, so in backend I get, okay, so I'll just delete all these things so that you can see that run. And now encrypted, if I click it, yeah, it's actually running. So this will be the same for the decrypt.yaml script. So new file dot, yeah, and then paste the same, and then it should be decrypted, and then instead of encrypted, yeah, and then backend slash should be encrypted and then decrypted. And now if I hit decrypt, and now it created a decrypted, and then okay. So that's all for this video, guys. So I hope you learned a lot from this video, and we have almost completed all the tasks. And comment down of what do you want to see next.